got to stand up strong. Ain't the truth about themselves to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the show. You can get involved by calling 888-7753-773. 888-77 Jesse. 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 And if you're busy out and about and you're not able to sit and just watch the show right now anywhere in the world, no matter where you are and what you're doing, you can podcast the show, of course, but you can still listen while you're doing what you're doing by calling the listen line on your iPhone or iPad at 641-793-1500. That's 641-793-1500. And we have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on JesseLeePeterson.com/show. JesseLeePeterson.com/show. Let's see here. Follow us. Follow us on rumble.com/JesseLeePeterson and cozy.tv/JLP. Cozy.tv/JLP. And to donate and have your comments read out loud, go to buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk, buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk, and rebuildingtheman.com, rebuildingtheman.com. Amazing. Man, this last day of work is here again for some people. Most people work all the time, but some people work Monday through Friday, I guess. Some people work Monday through Thursday, and some people don't work at all. So you got the whole thing. But it is Friday. And for the new listeners who might not be aware, every Friday is Get It Off Your Chest Day. Get It Off Your Chest Day. Every Friday is whatever is on your mind. Express yourself Friday.
You Tom like a mug. You need to go and get yourself bleached, because everything you say about black people, and you're sitting up there looking like a tar baby.
It might sound like a semantics argument, but he's a gray alien.
I wonder if he's been smoking pot.
So how are the kids?
How are the kids, by the way?
Sorry, I asked.
A group of students felt they were not being heard when it came to sensitive matters such as learning about slavery and civil rights.
Students told that they look like hookers on the side of the road on a Saturday night.
Sorry, I asked.
You're watching a young woman stab a classmate 14 times.
Stay on him, son. Come on. Hold up. Let me tighten this up. Oh, gosh, that's a good one. Come on. Real, son. That's a big one. Come on. Yeah! Let's freaking go, Bluey! Let's go!
Amazing. Nice. Thank you, Anchor Baby. If ever we needed fathers in this world, it is needed now. It's needed now. It is needed. If ever it was needed, it's needed now. And not because I said it or somebody made it up, it's because it is the spiritual order of God, the Father. God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, and woman over children. The love comes from above. The light comes from above. And the darkness comes from below through the woman. The light comes from above through the man. And Lord knows we need light in this world. And it's interesting in that your life, your family life, if you have a wife and kids, nothing is going to work, period, but that order. You can try everything you want. And in the darkness, that's what people do. In this world, people try everything but the light of the Father to make life work, and it doesn't work. That is mind-blowing to me. Everything that human beings do in the darkness of their mind, their thoughts, their feelings are wrong. It can never be right. It would never be right. It can never be right. It's impossible to be made right. It's crazy. And then what is even more interesting about it is that you can't see what you're doing. What you do, you see it in the darkness of your imagination, and you think that is right, and you think that it's going to work, and it's not, because it's not your thought. Those thoughts are not yours. You don't create thoughts. Human beings are not in control of anything. You can't control yourself or anything else. It's mind-blowing. And it's also mind-blowing to really, really see clearly and without a doubt that parents do not love their children. Oh, they're sad. And when they say it, they sound all emotional about it, one way or another. Feel good emotion or feel bad emotions. And then you applaud, oh. Or if it look like it's good when the mother say, oh, I love my children, or the father, you go, oh. If it's bad, you go, oh, man. You still have a false reaction to it. One thing for sure, and without a doubt, parents do not love their children, and especially mothers. Women have no love for their child or children. And they emotionally say they do, and it's all lies. All lies. And the women need the father there, the husband, the father there to guide her in raising the child or the children. When left alone, she cannot do it. It's impossible. Isn't that crazy? But you could say that she can, and you're lying. And you're doing it because you love lies. The human heart is wicked to the core. Salvation is of the heart. Unless you're born again of the heart, you can hang it up. I don't care what you say. You can hang it up. It's not enough to go down to the church, to the front, and accept Jesus, confess Jesus as your Lord and Savior, and believe that he died again and that he rose, and you shall be saved. That's a lie. That's not how you return to the Father. It ain't work, ain't never work, it ain't gonna work. And yesterday we gave you some clear ideas and pictures of how mothers do not love their children. They don't love them. There are mothers now who are starting to hear the truth and go and forgive their mothers and return to their fathers, and they're waking up. And the love from above is starting to come through them. That's changing slowly. But the average woman, and especially the working woman that's married, does not, do not, is not, can't not, won't not love the man's children, period. She would sacrifice them for ego pleasures. And yesterday, if you missed yesterday's show, podcast it, we gave you down-to-earth proof that women do not love the men's children. I have more proof right now. Parents do not love their children. Listen to this. This was stunning to me this morning while going over it with my producer. This is from the CDC.gov. ADHD, anxiety problems, behavior problems, and depression are the most commonly diagnosed mental disorders in children. Isn't that amazing? In 2016 through 2019, estimate among children ages 3 through 17. 3 to 17. What in the world does any child age 3 through 17? Why would they be depressed or have something called ADHD or behavior problem? What happened? When I was growing up, you didn't even hear these words. I guess they didn't exist then because fathers and mothers, for the most part, were raising their children. That's gone now. And instead of bringing back the order, they are giving their children fake titles of problems and then medication so that they don't have to be bothered with them. They're like, I don't care my child got ADHD. Give him or her a pill. In 2016 through 2019, estimate among children ages 3 to 17. Listen to this. Approximately 6.0 million with ADHD. 6.0 million children have, they say, that's a lie. I'm not a medical doctor, but that's a lie. They may have anger problem because their fathers are not protecting them from the mothers, but that's spiritual. And medication ain't going to do nothing about it but hook them on other drugs as they get older. You cannot solve spiritual issue with physical nothing. So ages 13 to 7 are approximately 6.0 million with ADHD, approximately 5.8 million with anxiety, approximately 5.5 million with behavior problems, approximately 2.7 million with depression. 1 out of 20 of all U.S. children are taking medication for ADHD. 1 out of 20 of all U.S. children are taking medication for ADHD. Now, do you believe me when I tell you that only anger, evil coming through the mother and corrupting the children? and turning them away from the Father? Do you believe me now? And then instead of correcting the situation, because all who are born through the woman must be born again of the Father, they say, you know what, I ain't changing nothing. Give that child medication and put a fancy title on it so that the world can agree that it's not the mama, it's something else. It's ADHD. Amazing. How do you tell children that they have anxiety or attention deficit something? That doesn't even make sense. Kids are active. They're born that way. But you don't have the patience to be around energized, active children. It's you, it's not the kids. But you'd rather destroy your children than to fix yourself. According to the CDC.gov, children with ADHD may have trouble paying attention, controlling impulsive behaviors, may act without thinking, or be very active, very overly active. Does that sound like children naturally? That's not a medical problem. The problem with you not being able to handle it and then falling for the lie from the so-called experts and counselors, the dummies with degrees who have made a deal with the medication makers. Hey, let's make money off these children. And you sold your children's soul for the money. Grandpa, tell me about the good old days. It's not the children, it's the parents. They don't care. They have no love. Watch this from NBC. ADHD medications are in shortage. They're short on the medication. So many kids are on it now. And that makes sense to you? Why don't you look at cause and effect? Why are they feeling that way? Are they acting like their mothers or grandmothers? NBC has reported ADHD medications are in a shortage. Frustrating parents and doctors. The doctor's like, how am I going to make money if they ain't got the pill? Watch this from NBC.
The morning rush, organized chaos at the Didier home in Kansas. Getting 17-year-old Isaac and 9-year-old Joshua off to school. Two of the more than 6 million children on ADHD medicines caught in an ongoing shortage of the drugs.
Did you take your meds?
Yeah. Turning parents like Jeremy into medical detectives.
It says dexamethasone is not serviced because it's unavailable from the manufacturer.
Do you guys have any 20s in stock? Can we drop her down to 20?
What started as a shortage of Adderall has created a domino effect, says medicines that help 4 of Jeremy Didier's children focus in school and life.
I can't think of anything worse as a parent than knowing that you're letting your kids down by not being able to get them what they need to be successful.
In a joint letter last month, the FDA and DEA pointed to record high prescription rates and blamed manufacturers for not producing the full amounts allowed. But several major manufacturers told NBC News they plan to produce the maximum they're allowed and have asked the government for permission to produce more, so children and adults can keep their focus.
Wow. So children and adults don't have to be responsible. Ain't there some turning your children into zombies because you don't have the patience to raise them? Look how anxious the mother was. No medicine? What the? That is insane. Those parents are evil. Pure evil. They do not love their children. Turning their children into drug addicts already. And when they grow older and start using other drugs to get high, they're going to say, oh, I don't know what's wrong with that child. I did everything I could for them. I wanted them to be successful. I gave them Adderall or whatever they give them for spiritual issues. That is so insane, I don't even know what to say. But I understand it. When you have anger, you can't see what you're doing. Everything you do is wrong. It's impossible to be right and do right when you have anger. Impossible. They have a shortage on this medication. And it makes us like, we got to get the government to give us permission to make more. We need money. Money, money, money off these human beings. And this woman had a whole little thing of medication and just pop them over and feed them. And then when it's time to deal with real life, then those kids are not going to be able to do it. They won't be able to handle real situations because they've been high all through their youth. They've been unconscious, not dealing with anything. That is crazy. See why you have to be born again of the Father and be in the world but not of it? The world is hell on earth, and not the physical world, but the people like that in this world who have not overcome and returned to the Father. Amazing. Joel, he was telling me that he know a girl who was put on a type of steroids for her eczema, and took them for years. And now she has a chronic skin illness. Think about this. Parents are helping, leading the way, not just helping and destroying their own children. They don't have to go to Iraq or Palestine or Israel, anywhere. It happened right in the home. Your home is your war zone. It's not a place of rest anymore. It's not a place of love. It's a place of hate. MedlinePlus.gov is saying that Munchausen by Proxy is a mental illness and a form of child abuse. The caretaker of a child, most often a mother, make up fake symptoms or causes real symptoms, make up fake symptoms or causes real symptoms to make it look like the child is sick. Watch this from WFAA.
Munchausen syndrome by proxy is a complicated disorder. Simply put, it's medical abuse when a child or someone in another person's care is put through unnecessary medical treatments because their caretaker lies about the victim's health and symptoms. Doctor shopping is a big one when a caretaker goes to multiple medical facilities, sometimes in different states, to get procedures done. Another, the caretaker might insist on a diagnosis that tests prove to be false. One of the more recent cases involved Dallas mother Kayleen Bowen. In 2019, she was arrested for medical child abuse or Munchausen syndrome by proxy. She was sentenced to 6 years for subjecting her son to hundreds of unnecessary procedures and surgeries.
Amazing. Now, do you believe me when I say that The women need the fathers, the husbands, the father to guide them in raising children. They cannot do it on their own. They need the light that comes through the father to guide them. And ladies, in case the husband don't change or the boyfriend, whomever, you can go straight to the father too and overcome the darkness, but you got to work on yourself. You got to forgive your mothers because they have recreated you in their image and you repeat the same old thing. Why do you think our world is falling apart? Look who's taking over. You're giving it over to them, the women, and everything is going to hell real fast. Everything. Nothing is working. And it ain't going to work. It didn't work in the home, and it's not going to work outside of the home. That's not the order. They're faking this all for the thrill of it. Mothers are getting the thrill of making the children sick. And you say, oh, poor baby. And she love it. That feel good. All for the thrill of it. Anyone who has anger love the thrills. And they'll do anything to get the thrill. And no matter what. Attack other people, attack your own children, attack yourself to get a faucet of life. This is why I say that you must be born again so that you can overcome the layers and layers and layers of identities you have taken on. It's interesting in that the world changed the name from evil and call it everything else but evil. Munchausen. That's evil, but they give it a fancy name instead of saying, this evil mother have done this to her children or child. Or they call it Munchausen. According to the report, this woman doing it to her own kids for the thrill of it. Look at your own individual life. Be honest with yourself, even if you don't say it out loud. You're not obligated to. But look at how you love the thrill of things and what you do for a thrill, a so-called good thrill or a bad one, or both. Epic Time is reporting parents' personality disorder driving surge in trans kids. Parents' personality disorder driving surge in trans kids. Transhausen by Proxy, a term coined for parents who pushes gender transitioning on their children. And because they enjoy the attention from having a trans kid, may be playing a role in the rise of transgender children. This is evil. Watch this from Postman Clinic.
At 10 years old, Josie Romero believed she was born in the wrong body, and her parents have been seeking a controversial hormone therapy that would start chemically changing her boy body into an adolescent girl's.
Are you a boy or are you a girl?
Maybe I'm a boy inside and a girl outside.
Really?
Yeah, is that true?
Only you know the answer to that. So if you wanted to grow up to be a man,
yeah,
would you tell me?
Yeah.
Hey, if you wanted to grow up and be a man, you could.
I want to be... Sometimes I think I'm a boy, sort of, but I want to be a girl.
Yeah. I feel like maybe there's a part of you that's afraid to tell me what you really want. What if I said, oh, please don't be a girl?
Well, I guess I'll be a boy. I need to listen to you and my mom.
I have to listen to you.
Yeah, well, if you said I need to be a boy, maybe
no.
I have to.
No.
Had Vanessa's wholehearted, unwavering support of Josie's transition actually pushed her child too far, too fast?
And God is good. You need to return to the Father, and you'll see within you, he will fight the battle for you. And he will fight it without. because he will show you how to deal with it, and you will have no fear. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your might, along with nothing else. Nothing else means yourself, your children, your wife, your things, your ego, your reputation, and all that. You can't care about any of that. The children of anger will use it to control you. But if you love God, he will renew your mind, and none of those things will be before him. And so when they go after you, oh, well, you may take my body, you may take my things, but you're not going to take my soul. And that's a true reality. Okay, welcome back. 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. I want to replay that soundbite because it didn't finish, and we went into a break there, and the music kind of crossed up there. This is from Epic Times. Parents' personality disorder driving surge in trans kids. Transhausen by Proxy, a term coined for parents who pushes gender transitioning on their children because they enjoy the attention from having a trans kid. Isn't that like evil? They enjoy the attention from having a trans kid, maybe playing a role in the rise of transgender children. Watch this from Postman Clinic.
At 10 years old, Josie Romero believed she was born in the wrong body, and her parents have been seeking a controversial hormone therapy that would start chemically changing her boy body into an adolescent girl's.
Are you a boy or are you a girl?
Maybe I'm a boy inside and a girl outside.
Really?
Yeah, is that true?
Only you know the answer to that. So if you wanted to grow up to be a man,
yeah,
would you tell me?
Yeah.
Hey, if you wanted to grow up and be a man, you could.
I want to be... Sometimes I think I'm a boy, sort of, but I want to be a girl.
Yeah. I feel like maybe there's a part of you that's afraid to tell me what you really want. What if I said, oh, please don't be a girl?
Well, I guess I'll be a boy. I need to listen to you and my mom.
I have to listen to you.
Yeah, well, if you said I need to be a boy, maybe
no.
I have to.
No.
Had Vanessa's wholehearted, unwavering support of Josie's transition actually pushed her child too far, too fast?
Amazing. That's an evil, wicked mother imposing that on the boy. And even in the tone, the way she talked to the boy is evil. I have to listen to you. The boy said, no, I have to listen to you. You're my mom. Now, why don't you know something else gotta be wrong? For a mother of a man's child to tell her son or even influence or encourage or even have anything to say you're a girl. All for the thrill of it. And they give it fancy names instead of calling it evil. I want you to know, do what you want. And I understand most people are not going to accept it. Some are, those who are hearing it and can see it, they're overcoming. But every human being born through the woman is possessed with evil after they come through the woman. They're not born that way unless the mother was pregnant or carrying on while she was pregnant. She can corrupt the spirit of the child from good to evil, even in the womb. And they'll come out of the womb a little Hitler because their spirit was corrupt in the womb. But it's the spirit of the mother that's doing this, which is the spirit of the devil. It's not the mother herself spirit, but it's the evil spirit that's in her. And you see what this lady doing with that little boy, trying to, whatever. You could be a girl, what you want. The boy was like, well, I have to listen to you. You're my mom. And where's the father to protect his son from that? And they put a fancy name on it, Transhausen, for transgender children. That's evil happening to innocent children, corrupting their spirit. You must be born again of the Father. Ain't nothing going to get better for you in life until you are born the second time of the Spirit. You're born of the flesh, and this is what happened. Why not be born of the Spirit and be free? You are possessed. Anyone that has anger, you're possessed with the spirit of evil. It ain't nothing else but that. And it brings on anxiety and worry, fear and doubt. It brings on these things because there's nothing good in that nature of evil, which is the nature of devil. And you have these stupid people with degrees telling you it's this, is that. They call it everything but what it is, because educated people are dumb people. Intellectual people are dumb people. They're separated from truth. I want you to hear my producer reading this thing from the New York Times. How come you don't see? I mean, I'm asking this question. Why don't you see that it's evil in you? And I'm still going to ask, but I know the answer, and I'm still asking. Why don't you, as an individual adult, see the evil inside of you? Why don't you stop listening to anybody else and listen to the Spirit of the Father inside of you? And stop letting these people put these fancy names on it so that you don't see that it's evil. You are possessed with the spirit of evil inside your body, your mind, and emotions. And anyone that is into emotions, feelings, and anger and all that, you better run. That's an evil person. Isn't that amazing? It's almost heartbreaking to see that woman do that to that boy, according to the report. So Sean is here, and my producer, amazing stuff. I'm stunned. I'm not stunned that these things are happening, but at the numbers, I had no idea. Even the New York Times knows better. Watch this.
You know, usually New York Times is not necessarily on point about things.
Yeah.
And even this is you know, says things that we wouldn't necessarily agree with. But what happens is kids, especially, I mean, the amount of kids that I knew growing up who were put on medication because they were a little fidgety or a little hyperactive is insane. And it messes them up, you know? They're on it for years, and then they try to go off it, and then they have to go on antidepressant medication or something else to try to fix that.
Amazing.
And so
you knew kids like that growing up. I didn't know any kids like that growing up.
Many kids.
That is insane.
So they wake up, I've said this before on the show, but they wake up, especially boys, you know, boys need that rough and tumble play. They need to be physical.
It's a born, it's given to them by God.
So they wake up in the morning, their parents give them sugary cereal for breakfast, and then they have to go sit in a hard plastic chair for 8 hours. And then if they're a little fidgety or they're a little talkative, they label it as ADD or ADHD, and they put them on something to calm them down and help them focus.
When God said the heart is evil, he wasn't lying about that.
Yeah, so anyway.
What the? He doesn't lie about anything, but he wasn't lying.
New York Times says policymakers around the world have pushed to make mental health resources more available to young people through social media. Therapy influencers flood online feeds with content about personality disorders. Studies have found that these programs made their mental health problems worse. So, in other words, influencers, people online talking about personality disorders, trauma, panic attacks, and they just, you know, kids who don't know any better will just start labeling themselves as things because they see it online. They don't know. They're not mental health professionals.
They just repeating what they hear.
Yeah. Greater awareness of mental illness leads people to talk in terms of symptoms and diagnosis. Teenagers are especially prone to take psychological labels to heart. Instead of I am nervous about X, a teenager might say I can't do X because I have anxiety.
Wow, I hear that a lot.
You hear that a lot, right?
Yeah.
People who say it's my anxiety.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't do that today. It's my anxiety acting up.
And so that's what it means when it says greater awareness of mental illness lead people to talk in terms of symptoms and diagnosis?
Right. Right. So they hear these words and they say, oh, I'm diagnosed as this, or I'm diagnosed as that.
I hear that all the time.
And they're so prideful of it. It's that they get an identity from it. You know?
Move Sean to his right a bit. To your right.
That's my right.
Oh, okay.
The other way. My left.
Oh, Joel said you're right. No, he black. Joel, you don't even know right from left? Anyway, but that's insane.
It's a major issue. Especially boys. But not always.
It's amazing to me how in today's world, adult parents and non-adult folks, non-parent adults, they listen to so-called experts about everything because they're their own life.
Yep. Yeah, I'm rewatching The Sopranos right now on HBO, and the kid in the family is in school, and the school tries to tell the parents that he might have ADD or ADHD, and the father, Mr. Soprano, comes in and he goes, define a fidget. What's a fidget? You know, define it. What is that? You know what I mean? If he's rocking his leg up and down, is that a fidget? You going to put him on medication for that? It's like they're boys.
Crazy.
They're just boys.
I have a friend of mine where his daughter, the school was trying to encourage his wife to let them put the daughter on that kind of medication. And the mother was going to let it happen, but they happened to talk to the father about it before it happened. And the father said, no, not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let that happen. Y'all ain't put my daughter on no medication.
Right.
She ain't got no problem. And then now she's a doctor. Never got the medication, grew up like a little girl should.
Yep.
And she's doing fine. Not drugged out, not in a coma, unconscious coma. All that, it's crazy.
Yep. Several friends were just put on meds.
They are doing this because they trust somebody with a degree of their own life.
Nobody talks to them about forgiveness. Nobody talks to them about anger.
Nobody tell them, you know what? You're angry. You're possessed with evil. You need to get better, mother, so the kids will be fine.
Yeah.
Ain't no money in that. That's why they do it that way.
Right.
Ain't no money. It's all for the money and the ego.
And they're mostly females too. The boys wake up, they go and they have a female teacher at school. A lot of them don't have fathers in the home, so they have a mother, aunts, grandmas at home, female teachers at school. There's no males.
Even the police is female.
Yeah. You want to play that real quick? It's really funny.
Oh, where is it?
It's 2C. I can read it if you want.
Okay.
Video posted from Daily Mail. Video posted on social media. 4 female Chicago police officers attempting to arrest a suspected shoplifter, has sparked backlash over the department's health and fitness standards.
Watch this. These 4 women, females, cannot handle one person. What the? Watch this. So the cops stopping, 4 women, 1 male.
You get another vehicle over to the system on the east side of northeast corner of 95th and Ashland.
Can I get a couple more cars?
They have 4 people there already.
12 out.
Hey, squad 1 male.
The lady's like, no, I'm too fat for this.
0206. 213. All right, 95 and Ashland. Give me some more cars. Give me some more cars, 95 and Ashland.
They got 4, they can't stop. They need more cars.
233, we got it.
Unbelievable.
What a mess.
Can we get another car, please? Maybe 4 more females to get it done.
Wow.
Yeah. So
this is horrible, but I understand it. It's evil. It is pure evil.
Yeah.
Even Ron DeSantis knows better.
Yep.
ABC, Ron DeSantis and Gavin Newsom debated on Fox News last night. Watch this from Fox. Even Ron knows better. Oh, the time?
No, we don't have time.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll play that when I come back.
Yeah, so they had for some reason, they had a debate last night, Ron and Gavin.
They were trying hard to pump that as an exciting debate. I didn't even watch it.
I know. I don't know how anyone could watch it.
Me either.
Who cares? They're both irrelevant.
It was all on local news and everywhere. They really trying hard to pump it as exciting.
I know, both of them with their fake smiles and
you already know what Ron's gonna say, and you already know what Gavin's gonna say.
Just smiling and lying.
And lying.
To your face.
Man. When I come back, your phone call and super chats. 888-77-53773. Thank you, Sean.
Yep.
Now, I totally disagree with the way things are going, but you can't be angry. Because that's what the enemy wants. He wants to control you. They do things to make you mad so they can control you. It's like being married. And the wife would do things to make you mad, or she'll do things to make you feel good. And men do that to women too when they want something from the woman, especially sex. They'll make her feel good, or they'll make her angry. And the woman's gonna have to say, you don't want to be angry. You want to speak up. You want to disagree with what's going on. It's wrong, but do not be angry. Then you won't have fear. You won't have doubt. You won't have worries. You'll be able to see, but you got to stay away from anger. That's why you must forgive your mothers and your fathers so that you can overcome the spirit of anger. It's a spirit and it's wicked. Nothing good in anger because it has no love, folks. You need love to defeat evil. And love is not a weakness. It's a strength. It's from God. It's His nature.
Whole lot of mess going on in the world. This is the end of hour 1 of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. It is Get It Off Your Chest Day, Friday, December 1st, 2023 AD. JLP will be right back to your calls. The lines are full, guys. But first, Hake news, not fake news. Evil college and university student suckers with foreign allegiances causing mess. Coming Nonsense Network, CNN reports. Many colleges and universities have struggled in recent weeks to balance free speech on the Israel-Hamas war while maintaining a healthy atmosphere. Harvard was recently added to the list of schools facing a federal probe over allegations of anti-Semitism and Islamophobia, neither of which exist. And in California, over 150 professors are pushing back on guidance to hold neutral viewpoints on the Middle East, saying it violates their academic freedom. And speaking of the Israel-Palestine drama, the Israel-Hamas war has restarted after a 7-day pause since November 24th. The Israeli military confirmed new airstrikes, claiming Hamas violated the operational pause by firing a rocket in their direction toward Israel. Qatar and Egypt tried to extend another 2 days, but no. Israel gave up 240 Palestinian prisoners for Hamas's release of 110 hostages and allowed much-needed aid to Gaza. Netanyahu had repeatedly vowed to crush, and that's a quote, crush Hamas once the truce expired. The joke of a Secretary of State in America, Antony Blinken. Where's Henry Kissinger when you need him, right? Rest in peace. 100 years old. Not that bad. Blinken urged Israel to protect civilians in Gaza. Thought that was Hamas's job. Evil UN. Secretary of General Antonio Guterres expressed his deep regret about the airstrikes resuming, calling it a war on children. That's called abortion or women's rights. California versus Florida governors, hosted by Hannity last night. The far-left female run outlet The Skim reports. Yesterday, in a face-off no one asked for, Governor Ron DeSantis, Republican from Florida, debated Governor Gavin Newsom, a demon rat from California, in Georgia on immigration, gun control, which is a violation of the Second Amendment, abortion, and more. Ron DeSantis is running for president. Gavin Newsom is supposedly not yet anyway. Still, the debate went ahead with Fox News' Sean Hannity, who's friends with both of those guys, I guess, as the moderator. Gavin Newsom pitched himself as Biden's #1 cheerleader, took a jab at DeSantis' trailing poll numbers, saying neither of us will be in the nominee for our party in 2024. For his part, Ron DeSantis called Newsom a liberal bully and accused him of running a shadow campaign for president. More debates where that came from in the next primetime showdown. Definitely going to be lame is next week with the rhinos taking the stage again. Leave George Santos alone. Speaking of rhinos, the far-left female-run outlet The Skim reports based, lying, fat, effeminate rhino Representative George Santos, Republican from New York. The House is expected to vote for a third time on whether or not to expel the freshman lawmaker. George Santos' troubles began shortly after he won his seat, 2022 midterms. Allegations that he lied about holding a job at Goldman Sachs, graduating from college, his grandparents fleeing the Holocaust, and more. Funny lies. Last month, the House Ethics Committee, what a joke, released a report of substantial evidence that George Santos violated federal law via campaign fraud. Give me a break. Now, George Santos says he expects the vote to succeed to oust him, but he refuses to resign. He says his expulsion would haunt lawmakers in the future by the precedent that it sets. If George Santos is expelled from Congress today, he would be the 6th person in history to get the congressional boot, the first in over 20 years. We're pulling for you, rhino. And the unchristian woman-led CDC says flu season is just beginning across most of the country, though accelerating fast. That's the scared woman, Mandy Cohen, not a Christian, advising that the respiratory illness is underway in the United States. An uptick in flu cases December and January, alongside with the China virus and RSV, respiratory syncytial virus. And so get your flu shots, they say. I'm James Hake.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the second hour of the show today. You can get involved by calling 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. Jesse. Jesse. My biblical question for this week is a doozy. What distinguishes you from other people? What distinguishes you from other people? We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on JesseLeePeterson.com/show. JesseLeePeterson.com/show. And if you're out and about, working out, whatever you might be doing, stuck in the airport, whatever, you can listen to the show. You can podcast later, and you can be listening until you have a chance to podcast by calling the listen line on TalkStream Live at 641-793-1037. 641-793-1500 on your iPhone or iPad. Don't forget to follow us, like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all those things. Follow us at JLP Talk on X and Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. JLP Talk on X and Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. All right? And to donate and have your super comments read out loud, go to buymeacoffee.com, buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk or rebuildingtheman.com. It is Friday, second hour of the show today. And every Friday is Express Yourself. Get it off your chest Friday. It is always Express Yourself Friday.
You, Tom, like a mug. You need to go and get yourself bleached because everything you say about black people and you're sitting up there looking like a tar baby.
It might sound like a semantics argument, but he's a great alien.
I wonder if he's been smoking pot.
So how are the kids?
How are the kids, by the way?
Sorry, I asked.
As a group, the students felt they were not being heard when it came to sensitive matters such as learning about slavery and civil rights.
Students told that they look like hookers on the side of the road on a Saturday night.
Sorry, I asked.
You're watching a young woman stab a classmate 14 times.
Wow. Stay on him, son. Come on. Hold up. Let me tighten this up. Oh, gosh, that's a good one. Come on. Real, son. That's a big one. Come on. Yeah! Let's freaking go, boy! Let's go!
Bring back the order. And just before the break, and then I get to your calls and supers, we were talking about how this madness is happening in the home and to the children and what the experts are offering you for your children and you're giving it to them. And there are mothers out there who are encouraging their boys and girls to be so-called transgender so that they can feel good about it. They can get attention. That is mind-blowing. And we mentioned that even Ron DeSantis know that something is wrong with this. They had their little debate last night. I didn't even watch it. They were pumping this debate. They were trying hard to make it be something that you want to watch, right? And anybody that know Ron DeSantis and Gavin Newsom, you already know it. They say, you know what they're about. It wasn't a big deal. But this is from ABC. Here's Ron DeSantis and Gavin Newsom debate on Fox News last night. Watch this from Fox.
But let me just say something about parents' rights, because he says California respects parents' rights. If you're a parent in Iowa or New Hampshire or South Carolina, your minor child can go to California without your knowledge or without your consent and get hormone therapy, puberty blockers, and a sex change operation, all without you knowing or consenting. How in the heck is that honoring parents' rights when you're bringing people from out of state to go around their parents' backs and getting life-altering surgeries? That is radical. That is
Ron,
extreme.
these kids
That is an assault on parents' rights.
You know what, Ron?
It's not for you to decide. It's for the parents to decide. And the parents do not want their kids
to survive.
Amazing. And you let the government tell you how to raise your children. Parents have just given up raising their children because they want thrills. Amazing. Kids just want to live, he says, something like that. Gavin Newsom. What a mess. It's a spiritual battle, folks. You must be born again. It's up to you. You can live in the darkness of your imagination, the abnormal nature, which is of evil, or you can live in the light, the kingdom of heaven on earth. It's totally up. You can stay in your hell. You can love your hell. You can do whatever with your own hell. Or you can overcome it. And most people understand it. I understand it. I understand it so clearly. Most people love their hell. They love the thrill of their misery, the thrill of their fears and jealousy and strife and envious and revenge and whatever. They love it. They roam the earth, even if it means destroying their own children. They roam the earth to get a thrill, and they call it life. I totally understand it now. I get it. I get it. I understand it. 888-7753-773. Let me go to North Carolina and talk to Kaya. Kaya, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Jesse. How are you?
All is well. How are you?
All is well. Thank you for asking.
Amazing.
I was calling to answer the biblical question.
What distinguishes you from other people?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Meaning what?
Meaning there's nothing about me that's special or separates me from any other person.
Amazing.
We're all the same.
Have you always felt that way about yourself?
Of course not. No. I've thought everything about myself, that I was unique, one of a kind, whatever special thing. I don't do that. I do this. I can cook better than you. Anything, any attribute. Yeah, no, I haven't always thought that. However, I missed the show a few times this week, but I just got on X. Okay, so I'm trying to be on X and keep up with the times, if you will. And I follow you on there, and I saw this question, and I replied in the comments, and I instantly knew that there is nothing about me that's different. It's just not.
Amazing.
The second I think it is, there it went.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to respond to that, but I got to wait until Sunday, if the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise.
Right on.
I appreciate that.
I look forward to it.
All right. Good hearing from you.
You too, Jesse. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. That's right. It is Christmas.
All right.
We say Christmas
upon
here.
us.
That's right.
That's right. All right. Take care.
Okay. Amazing. 888-7753-773. Justin, a first-time caller out of Washington State. Justin, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Jesse. How are you?
All is well. How you doing, sir?
It's a wonderful morning.
Nice.
Wonderful morning. I was just calling in because I listened to your little, it was kind of like a podcast yesterday about why men should or shouldn't fight for their kids.
Yes.
Yeah, and I do agree that there are many men, like if a man's going to pay a lawyer to fight for their kids, I don't think he should, because he's weak. And like you shouldn't, if you can't have the responsibility to take care of your kid, like why should you pay someone else to fight for them?
Repeat that. You say if the man have what?
Like if a man can't, like if a man can handle the responsibility, if a man has, if a man can't handle the responsibility of taking care of his kid, then like what about paying money for a lawyer would represent that he has that responsibility?
Are you saying that a man should, if a woman, when women take these men, children to court to try to keep the man from them or control the situation?
I think men should fight for their kids.
Men should fight back in court?
I think, they should I self-represent because my sin, like I have to bear like my sin so that my kid does not pay for my sins.
So you say that a man should fight for the kids?
Yes.
And why?
Because if, like you were just saying, like these women are taking these kids, these Transhausen and whatnot, and it's like if in that respect, if women are evil, then a man's original sin was thinking that this woman was going to bring him peace. So he needs to bear that sin, and he needs to bring his child back to bring the child closer to the father. And not let this
but
woman
the courts are
corrupt
not
the
going to
child
let
more.
him. The courts are not going to let him do that. And then even if he got 50% visitation right, the courts are going to. I mean, the woman's going to make it impossible for him to deal with, to even see his children. And in the meantime, she's still screwing them up.
I do believe.
And how is that bearing a kid?
meantime,
How is that bearing sin by going to court?
How is it what?
You said that you need to bear your children's sin or something?
Oh, yes.
Well, how is that
Yes,
bearing
'cause-
sin? What do you mean by that?
So, I believe that the story of Jesus carrying his cross and his crucifixion is also a story of man. How through our life we do many things that aren't good, and at the end of our days we have to carry our own cross and say, like, God, this is what I've repented for. These are the things that I've repented for as well, and we need to face our Creator.
You said that at the end of life they should do that?
Yeah.
Where you get that
I'm
from?
saying that the story, or Jesus' crucifixion, and he had to carry his cross up the hill, and as he's nailed to the cross, and he says, "God, why have you forsaken me?" And I think in my life, at the end of my days, I'm going to have to bear all of my sins, and I have to think, and I have to say, like, wow, like all these things in my life I did wrong, and one of those things was being with this hateful woman, and I don't want to subject my child to that. So I need to fight for my kid so that.
Where are you getting all these ideas? Where are you getting these ideas from about Jesus on the cross and all that stuff you just said?
Well,
and
I was
where are
just
you
reading-
where are you getting those ideas from?
I just read the Bible, and I just like I was just reading. I'm going through Genesis right now, and just really I'm reading everything and taking notes and trying to because I was baptized and I was saved as a child, but I don't think it's right for children because children can't comprehend.
But where are you
I
getting
need to learn.
those everything you just said doesn't even make sense about the cross and about your sins and about going to court to bear the sins and none of that made any sense at all. It has nothing to do with Jesus.
So you don't think that? So okay. So sorry, I'll just be more pointed. So what is when a man creates a child out of wedlock? What is the first sin? Like, what is the first wrong that a man does?
I don't know. What are you saying it is?
Well, because is a man only to repent for his sin, or is a man to take action to try to correct it?
What do you
as well?
mean by the man when he makes a child out of wedlock? What is this?
Yeah, so if a man creates a child out of wedlock, that is a sin because he's not married.
How is that a sin?
Well, because he's not married. A man has slept with a woman before marriage.
But how is that a sin?
Well, it says it in the Bible, is it not?
Where did the Bible does it say there's a sin?
Well, it's not following the word of God.
Where in the Bible does it say that is a sin?
I guess that it doesn't say that it's a sin, but it says that a man is
So why are you calling it a
become-
sin if the Bible doesn't call it a sin? Why are you calling it a sin?
Well, the Bible also doesn't. I feel as though it's interpreted because, like, let's say.
Why are you calling that
semantic.
Why are you calling that a sin if the Bible doesn't say that it is a sin? Why are you calling it that?
Well, I believe that in the Word of God, the way that it's interpreted is that you're not supposed to have sex with someone until marriage.
But why are you calling it a sin, though? You didn't tell me that yet.
Well, it's a sin because it's like if God were to ask me and say, hey, like my message is you need to not do this to live a good life, and he would ask me if God were to, if the Father were to ask me,
God's not going to ask you anything like that. You're not telling me why. God doesn't call it a sin. The Bible doesn't call it a sin. Why are you calling it a sin, Justin?
Because I just don't feel I don't feel good about it, and I feel like if anyone that had authority over me were to, I wouldn't be able to explain it to them, and I would feel ashamed.
So you're calling it a sin because you would not feel good about it?
I'm calling it a sin because I do not. I feel during judgment that I wouldn't be able to. It's something I feel I need to repent for. That is why I think it's a sin.
So you're calling it a sin because you, Justin, would not feel good about it?
Yes, because the Bible does the Bible not say that you should abstain from sexual immorality?
So you're calling it a sin because you, not because God called it a sin, not because the Bible called it a sin, you call it a sin because you would not feel good about it.
Yes, because I would not feel good about it.
Would you feel bad about it?
Yes. Well, I feel bad about it now because after I talked to Pastor, he said, like, really, you're supposed to abstain from sex until marriage.
And why? And so a pastor told you that?
Yes.
And now you feel bad about it?
Well, I feel bad about it because of that, and I've been reading in the Bible, and I'm like, there's reasons that the Bible tells us these things.
But so you're feeling bad about it?
Yes.
And what good is it doing you to feel bad about it?
Oh, it's correcting my actions.
How is it correcting your what?
My actions. Like
how is feeling bad about it correcting your action?
Well, I don't feel bad. Sorry, I don't feel bad about it any longer.
But how?
I have felt bad, and now I've come closer to God. I've started reading the Bible, and I now understand the severity of the actions and why the Bible lays out a plan to have a good life.
How did it correct the action when you felt bad about it? Even though God doesn't call it a sin, the Bible doesn't call it a sin, some dumb preacher told you that it is a sin, and now you feel bad about it. How did it correct the problem by you feeling bad about it?
Well, the problem was already created. It only pushed me to repent.
How did it solve the problem by you feeling bad about it?
Well, the problem will never be solved because I have to live within myself.
How did it solve the problem by you feeling bad about it?
Oh, how was the problem solved? Like, why did I feel bad?
How did that solve? You said feeling bad solved the problem. How did it solve the problem by you feeling bad about it?
Feeling bad about it did not solve the problem.
So what was the purpose of feeling bad about it?
Well, I guess that's just an emotion I had.
And so,
it's just an emotion I had that I need to deal with, and I guess I had to give that to God.
And so, having a bad feeling called emotion, it did not solve the problem.
No.
And so, what was the purpose of you being emotional about it when God didn't call it a sin? The Bible doesn't call it a sin. Only some dumb preacher call it a sin, and you feel bad. Do you see how that was a waste of time?
I see. Yes. Oh, I definitely see that feeling bad about it was a waste of time.
So why go through that then? Why did you go through it then?
Why did I go through with
Why did you put yourself through feeling bad?
Well, I needed to understand why I felt bad. so that I could take actions so that I would not feel that way.
And why did you feel bad?
Well, I felt bad because I compromised. I just compromised my morals, and now, yeah.
And that makes sense to you.
Oh well, yeah. I think if we
let me ask, because of time. Let me ask. Who is the Justin that felt bad about it? Who is that?
Myself.
And who is yourself? Describe yourself.
Just a young, lost individual. Just learning through life, I guess.
How old are you?
I'm 32 now.
And so you say you're a young individual that lost in life?
Yes. Yes.
And that's who you are?
Yeah. Well, there's other things. Like I'm a father, and I'm a responsible young man, and I've made many mistakes on the way. But yeah, I guess I'm still a little lost in certain areas. Yeah.
And how do you know that you're lost?
Because certain things in life are not going in a natural projection, I don't think. So I'm like, well, if I don't understand something, I'm just lost in that area. I still have learning to do.
And why don't you overcome your emotions? A man should never be emotional. Why not overcome it so you don't have to feel bad or good? Why don't you overcome your emotions?
Well, I do not feel that now, and it was actually you. You said that the energy of God.
You said that you needed to feel bad when you had made a baby out of wedlock. Yes. You needed to feel bad about it. So I didn't say that. You said that.
No, you're right. I said that.
Why don't you overcome those emotions? A man has no business being emotional. Why don't you overcome it?
And I feel that I have overcome it.
But if you overcame it, how were you able to feel bad?
Well, I hadn't come to the Lord.
You hadn't come where?
I hadn't come to God.
Where is God?
I'm sorry, Desi. All right, I got to get my kid dressed. But no, you've made me think things, and you're very right. You're very right.
Right about
for
what?
Taking my call.
All right, take care of the baby. Call me later.
Yeah. Okay.
Amazing. Amazing. Super chat.
Super chats.
There's one line open, 888-7753-773.
Prep Ham Paul with a Rumble rant yesterday. White House press secretary, after viewing the Venezuelan arrest chart, be like, there's zero proof that this increase is due to the 60,000 Venezuelan illegals crossing our open border. Trump is racist. Terrible.
Amazing. Thank you.
I guess because there was all kinds of, thefts and stuff from those Venezuelans, allegedly.
They say, is Donald Trump an intellectual? Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
See, he's not racist, he's just smart.
Indeed.
Amazing.
Wayne from Texas bought 5 coffees. Answer to the biblical question. What distinguishes me from other people? Nothing. We are all in the same boat, facing identical trials. We all have to die the ego death, and we all have to live in his presence, at capital H, like for God's. It appears we are all different, but the truth is we are all the same.
Amazing. Thank you. I'll put my little 2 cents in on Sunday.
Wayne from Texas bought 5 more coffees. Jesse, why is it such a big deal to believe that Jesus is God? Does it prevent me from receiving God's new nature or being born again? Does it hinder the ego death process? Or does it inhibit being able to live in his presence, God's? I see forgiving parents, obtaining new nature, peace, and living in his presence as a big deal, but I don't see how calling Jesus God is such a big deal. Help me understand.
It sounds like you already understand.
He's saying Jesus is God. And
he's saying Jesus is God?
Yeah.
Or why should he have to say that?
No, he's saying believing Jesus is God, does it prevent him from receiving God's new nature, being born again, blah, blah, blah.
So when you started out, you said, Jesse, what? The first line.
Why is it such a big deal to believe that Jesus is God?
So it sounds like he doesn't believe it.
No, it sounds like he does.
But he said, why is it a big deal to believe it?
Right.
But isn't that what people want them to believe?
I think he's asking, why is it such a big deal that he believes Jesus is God? Yes, huh? Listen, does believing Jesus is God prevent me from receiving God's new nature?
So is he saying he does believe Jesus is God, or he doesn't?
He does.
Oh. The question is not quite clear, but it sounds like it is to Hake. Mm-hmm. And so if you're saying that Jesus is God, you're stuck in your intellect, and that's it. You will never know God. So that's why it's a big deal. Thank you. I hope that's right. I mean, the question is right.
Gregatron bought a coffee. Jesse, I really liked Hassan's little video. Who did the animation? It just shows that no matter how advanced we become, at the end of the day, we're still angry savages fighting. Well, I added in fighting, but he said angry savages.
Thank you. Yeah, just something, my editor.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right on.
Amazing. Thank you. It is an amazing song.
Someone bought 3 coffees. Thank you and your crew, Jesse, for Sunday.
Thank you, and thank you.
Rock Fort 7. Young boys don't belong stuck in a prison called schools for 8 hours a day. I agree, man. They belong outdoors exploring nature.
It's horrible what happened to the image of God, huh? Amazing. Let me take a break, and then I come back, calls, and finish these super chats. Back in a moment. We have a counseling service, and I have to admit, thanks to God, it is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women, families, individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy, they're miserable, they have rough lives, they're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand, I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really, really, really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven. Amazing. Jumping for Jesus. 888-7753. 773-888-77 Jesse. A few announcements. Number one, the Hake report is coming up at 9 a.m. this morning. It is Friday. The Hake report at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And then at 12 noon Pacific time, brand new episode of the Fallen State.tv. Interesting discussion with Nate Fisher. He is the founder and CEO of New Founding and also a co-founder of American Reformer. Watch this.
Next time on The Fallen State.
The best reason to start a business is to make a lot of money. And I don't think people should be apologetic about that. I'm raising a venture fund to invest in conservative companies.
When you don't overcome their heart, then you cannot keep the commandments.
Breaking any of the 10 commandments would be a sin.
Do you have anger?
Let's say I spend time on Twitter.
And does your wife obey you?
Arguing with a woman is rarely productive.
Right, because you argue with the devil. Stop arguing. Lay your weapon down. Don't argue with the devil inside you, your mind and emotions, and don't argue with the devil inside of others. It is mind-blowing to live that way. And that's the way we're meant to live. That's the Fallen State.tv at 12 noon today. You can support the Fallen State by going to the fallenstate.tv/donate or locals.com. Click the link there in the description for the Fallen State there, and you'll see locals.com. And at 4 p.m., the American Anchor Baby. At 4 p.m., the American Anchor Baby. So it's a busy day today. It's going to be interesting, though. Amazing. 888-7753-773. Let me go to Jonathan, a first-time caller out of Georgia. Georgia, on my mind. Jonathan, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Yeah, how you doing?
All is well, Jonathan.
Yeah, I got a thing. I said I kind of know. Well, I don't agree with you saying that women don't have no love, because I had a grandmother. She raised 4 boys, and her husband died, which is my granddad, and they all turned out to be good. And she showed them love. You know, one of them may went astray the other way.
You said one did?
One did, but the other 3, I say turned out kind of well, real well. And I just don't agree with that. Women don't have any love, because I think the mother shows the child love when they first come out. I think that love, I still remember some of the things my mom did for me when I was a kid, and it's like a feeling that I have, and I think it still is within me, you know. So
and you believe that love is point. You believe that love is a feeling?
I feel it's an action and it's a feeling, all wrapped into one.
So you believe that love is action and a feeling?
Yes, I do.
And you said that all the boys turned out well, good, except for one. If your grandmother was good, why didn't they all turn out good?
I think maybe one of them just didn't, because I think I really can't answer that question. But I know the 3 out of 4 turned out good.
So you can't. Go ahead. But the other one.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I interrupt. Go ahead. Okay, so the 3 turned out good, but the one didn't, and yet your grandmother had love. Why didn't that love work on all of them?
I really don't have the answer.
Oh, okay.
But I know she did the best she could do for them, and they respected her. I mean, I'm not saying she was perfect, but I think she showed them love, and I think that love kind of carried them through.
Let me ask this. You said 3 of them turned out good?
Right, in my opinion. Yeah.
What's good about the 3?
They married. They stuck around with their wives. They worked at the job until they retired. They was kind of like the people to look up to in the community. They didn't blame nobody for where they was in life, and they grew up back in the 40s and the 50s, and they turned out real well. And I think that was good because I kind of took some of my own work ethic from my uncles,
and
I have it to this day.
So what good about them? You didn't tell me what was good about them.
They stuck it out when they had the opportunity just to walk away, and like a lot of guys do today. And that's why I call good.
But what good about them? You still haven't told me anything good about them.
I guess that's my definition of good.
Why do you call that? Why do you call that good? God doesn't call that good. Why do you call it good?
Because I think they just stuck around and did the best they could in their situations, and to me, that's good.
But why do you call it good and God doesn't?
I can't. I don't really know, but from what I see, they're good. I mean, I can't say.
Hold on a minute.
I mean,
hold on, buddy. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Sorry about that. I had to answer the phone. I had no other choice. Jonathan, so you still haven't told me what was good about them. You told me what they did, but you didn't tell me what was good about them.
All right. Well, they went to church. They loved the Lord. They obeyed.
They loved
what
the Lord.
Word said. Yeah. They. Well, in my opinion, they did. They went to church a lot. They try to live by the book. That's my opinion, and I think they did a good job at it.
So you're not able to tell me what's good. And I understand you're telling me what they did, but you're not really able to tell me what's good about them. Is there anything good about you?
I think so.
What's good about you?
I think I'm a provider for my family. I think that I treat people like I want to be treated.
And you make a very interesting point about your uncles and about your grandmother and about yourself, in that in the good old days when boys were boys, men were men, men took responsibility as far as trying to, stay with the family, raising their children and things like that. That is so true. But, and unlike today, for the most part, they don't do it. But going to church and doing those things doesn't make you a good person. And you're right, your grandmother did the best she could do. That's why we must forgive, right? Do you have anger, Jonathan?
Sometimes I do.
I'm sorry?
Sometimes I do.
Are you a Christian?
I'm a believer, put it like that.
Are you a Christian?
I wouldn't say so.
Are you a Christian?
I wouldn't say so.
So you're not a Christian?
I would say I am a believer.
And so are you saying that you're not a Christian?
I guess the word would say not, because some things I just don't believe.
But are you saying that you're not a Christian?
No, I wouldn't say I'm a Christian.
And what is a believer?
I believe there's a higher power directing me in my life.
And so you believe in God?
I believe there is a God.
And do you believe in him?
For the most part, yeah.
But not for the whole part, just for the most. What does that mean?
Right. For the most part, I mean, well, let's say the part that I don't believe. I don't believe you're supposed to turn the other cheek and just let people do you any kind of way. That's what I mean. I don't believe in that. I don't believe people should just. I don't believe people should just run over you. You just sit back and be all nice and cushy and just turn the other cheek and let it get by. I don't believe in that.
That's what Christ did. Why don't you believe you should do it?
Maybe I hadn't got there yet. Maybe I will, but right now I hadn't got there.
If you overcome that anger, you'll be there.
Well, let me ask you, what can you do to overcome the anger? Because sometimes it takes hold of me, and I really don't know how to react. What would you suggest?
You must forgive your mother, and so that God can forgive you. Your mother did the best she could. Your grandmother did the best, but your mother turned you away from your father, and she recreated you in her image, and you must be born again of the Father, which is of God, right? You must return to the Father. And when you return to the Father, by forgiving your mother and forgiving your father, your earthly father, for not protecting you from her, God will forgive you, and he will take away the spirit of anger, which is evil, that was passed down to you through your mother.
My mother, she's like 75 almost. Now, if I went to her, she's kind of older. She don't get out much. She's kind of like, she's up in age. And some things I don't think would be good for me to go back into her and say, hey, Mom, I forgive you what you done to me. There's some things I don't agree with what she did when I was younger. I think those things have an impact on me to this day. But if I went to her right now and said, hey, why did you do that? I forgive you. You know what they're going to do?
What?
She's going to say she going to say she didn't do anything. She's going to say she did the best she could do. And that thing I know, she's going to be crying, and then everybody going to be like, why did you say that to your mom? You know what kind of state she's in. She's not in no good health, and I don't think you should approach everybody like that, even though it may be true. But if you approach an older person like that, that could be a detriment to them.
In what way?
That she in her mind, she don't feel like she done anything wrong.
Because she's in denial. She's not ready to face the truth. But that has nothing to do with you. You are forgiving her, realizing that she could not help herself, and God will forgive you. God said that before you can enter into the kingdom of heaven, before you enter in, you must go and forgive, and I will forgive you. And he didn't tell you to be concerned about how they're going to think about it, how they're going to feel about it. That's on them. You're confessing your sin is that I am wrong for playing God. I've been angry at you, and as a result, I'm wrong for that. And God will forgive you for that and set you free. And if your mother admit it or deny it or fall out and die, that's on her. It has nothing to do with you at all. And if your family turn against you, most of them will because they have identified with her, that's fine too. They don't care about you anyway.
She old and sick. I don't want to just put that on her. And I visit her from time to time. I don't want to just put that on her, and then, it make it seem like, why did you do that to her? You know she's not well. But I understand what you're saying, but you got to understand this too. You just can't go to everybody like that because, I don't know how long I'm gonna live, but I know she don't have long to live either. But at the same time, I don't want to just thrust that upon her and, make her feel like, man, my son don't love me no more. That's not true. But
if you loved her, you would forgive her. You don't love her. If you loved her,
I love her. That's where we disagree. I do love her.
If you love her, then why don't you forgive her?
I do forgive her.
Why don't you tell her that then if you love her?
I do.
Then why can't you tell her that then if you love her?
That sounds easy. That's not easy to do.
It's only not easy because you're afraid of her and you're making up all kind of excuses. You're listening to your father, the devil, in your imagination, giving you all kinds of excuses to keep you in hell. Because anyone who has anger is living in hell. They live in fear. They live in emotions. They're living in hell. And you're letting the devil talk you into living in hell by giving you all these excuses because he doesn't want to let go of your soul.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. That's something to think about. I don't know if I'm ready to just go do that. But
Well, don't do it just because I'm saying it, but I'm just pointing you back to the source that would make you free. And you're never, 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 never going to enter into the kingdom of heaven as long as you have the spirit of evil inside of your mind and body. You have no love. You're of your father, the devil. You want to be of God by returning to the Father, by forgiving him. Have you forgiven her? Have you forgiven your earthly father for not protecting you from your mother?
I don't really know, to be honest, but I really don't know that.
You don't know what?
I can't say I forgave him sometimes, because some things happened to me in my younger life. You know, I was like, why did this happen, you know?
Right.
And, you know, like, where were you when I needed you? You know what I mean?
And so why don't you go and forgive your father?
You talking about my earthly father or my heavenly father?
Your earthly father.
My earthly father's gone. He passed away.
Oh.
And
but
she
just
didn't keep me away. She didn't keep me away from my father. I mean, actually, it was the opposite, really. You know, me and him had a good thing. You know, but he's gone on. He's been gone for now like 7-8 years.
So you grew up close to your father?
Yes.
And when you said the earthly father, are you mad at God?
Sometimes people can get angry because they feel like, where were you when I needed you?
Are you mad at God?
No, I'm not.
Oh, then why you said that?
I said, sometimes it can come across my mind. That's what I meant to say. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at God. I just can't go to my mom and tell her nothing like that right now.
Oh, okay. Well, it's totally up to you, but I can warn you, without a doubt, as long as you're alive, your eyes are open, you're going to live in hell. And then if you die, drop your body, and you still have that anger, you're going to be stuck in hell. There won't be another way out. And your way out of hell is why you live, and you can have paradise on earth because the kingdom of heaven is inside of you, but you're not going to enter that kingdom until you forgive. And you're fortunate in that your mother is still alive, so you can go and face her in order to get your courage back. But it's up to you. You can stay in that hell, or you can be free. And you will see that God has always been with you. You just didn't know it.
I don't think I'm living in hell. I don't think I'm going to hell. But I will say this. What did you do to get it right with your mom?
I went and forgave her.
And how did that go?
And I thought,
how did that go?
And I thought that I had felt love because I felt the same emotion for my mother that you're feeling for your mother, but that was hate. And I was calling it love. And I was 38. And when I went to forgive her, I was shaking in my boots at 38. But I faced the fear anyway. And when I forgave her, God forgave me. He took away the fear, and I've not had fear since. He gave me perfect peace. You
literally went to your mom and told her that. And how did she look at you thereafter?
We were fortunate in that my mother, she started crying, and she said to me she was sorry that she had not realized that she had done that. And then she finally told me about my grandmother, her mother, right? And I thought I saw my grandmother the same way you saw your grandmother. And exactly what she did to me, her mother did it to her, and it goes on from generation to generation. But my mother apologized. Most mothers won't because Satan is their God and they're on an ego trip. But my mother did apologize, and I was surprised, but she did apologize. And but most mothers won't. But I really recommend, Jonathan, do what you want, of course. But I recommend you count it all joy that your mother is still alive. And just go to her and say, you know what? I've been angry at you all my life. Here's why, if she didn't know why. And I realize now you can help yourself. I'm sorry for being angry at you. And don't ask for forgiveness. You apologize for being angry, and God will forgive you, and he will take the spirit of anger away from you, and your eyes will open up. You will be able to see.
All right.
And
well,
then you
I'll
will,
give some thought.
yeah, and then you will know God. Amazing call, Jonathan. Let me know if you do it.
All right, if I can get through again. All right.
Okay, don't let the devil talk to you out. That's the devil talking to you in your thoughts. Do you realize that?
Yeah, I kind of realized that.
Well, stop worshiping the devil, man.
Nah, I don't worship him, but
when you believe him, you're worshiping him. When you believe thoughts, you're worshiping the devil.
I'll think about it, but I'll see where it goes.
Okay.
You know, she more than likely she gonna say she didn't do nothing, but.
And if she does, this is on her. Let her say whatever she wants. She may not be ready to admit she's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that may be true. It may not be true, but.
And if she fall out and die, just let her die. Go have a cheap little funeral, and go live your life.
See, that's what you can't say that about people's moms.
Why not?
People are sensitive about that kind of stuff. Like, let your mom just die. You know, that ain't.
And then once she die, you know where the insurance papers are, right?
Yeah, you can't be doing that. Oh yeah, I know.
They're in that drawer by the kitchen, in the kitchen.
You right.
All right. Take care. Right. Let me know how it goes, buddy.
All right.
All right. I got to take a break. When I come back, we're going to move more calls at Super Chats. 888-77-53773. The hate news, not the fake news, but the hate news. And I'll be back in a moment. Steve, thank you for calling and thanks for holding. How have you been helped by the show?
I'm going to tell you this. I believe you might go down in history as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, black man that ever lived on planet Earth, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know anybody before you that's been that great. You know, freeing the slaves is one thing, but you've been freeing people of their mind, which matters, it should be anyhow, to you more than anything else, because with the mind not being right, there ain't nothing else going to happen right anyway.
If you can doubt every thought because you're not your thoughts, if you can doubt every thought, knowing that you're not your thoughts, you don't create them, they're not from God, that they're from the deceiver, the great deceiver, Satan. If you can doubt every thought, you can be free, just like that. At an instant. Bring every thought into captivity. It's so amazing.
A whole lot of mess going on in the world. This is the end of hour 2 of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. The lines are full, guys. JLP will be right back to your calls. But first, Hake news, not fake news. We do have the fallen state happening today after the Hake report. We also have American Anchor Baby Nick stream at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And don't forget Church with Jesse Lee Peterson on Sunday, rebuildingtheman.com/church. Join us in person if you can, or online if you can't, or catch the audio or video podcast afterwards. Rebuildingtheman.com/church. Mama EPA versus lead pipes. Government focusing on lead. Yesterday, the Environmental Protection Agency, according to the far-left female-run outlet The Skim, proposed a rule that would remove all lead water pipes within 10 years. Rules don't do that. Rules don't make that happen. We have a rule against illegal immigration, and we still have them invading, right? Potentially costing utility companies and taxpayers at least $30 billion. There's still about 9 million lead pipes in the United States, with many located in Illinois and Rhode Island. One group found that in 2021, more than half of the U.S. population drank water from pipes carrying elevated levels of lead. That threatens to put them at higher risk for cancer, stroke, and kidney disease, and creates growth and developmental issues in children. The EPA is expected to roll out a final rule in the fall. And poor women. The far-left female-run outlet The Skim claims it's getting worse for the women. Yesterday, a report found that Gen Z and millennial women are facing greater risks to their so-called well-being and safety compared to their moms and grandmothers. Researchers found that harmful social media content, sticks and stones, right? Lingering impacts of the China virus, or their overreaction to it, maybe. Political divides, which they contribute to, and the rising inflation, which they also contribute to. are putting women in their 20s and 30s at an increased risk of so-called suicide, maternal mortality, and even murder on a bridal. And that's all their fault, partly, by the way. And they're contributing to it. Gen Z and millennial women, though, are more likely to get a degree and are seeing lower incarceration rates. A degree is not a good thing, and they should be in jail, many of them. Radical homosexuals versus Russia. The far-left female-run outlet The Skim reports that Russia is defending against the radical LGBTQIA plus advocacy. Yesterday, Russia's Supreme Court banned LGBTQIA plus activism and labeled the quote-unquote movement as an extremist organization. The move comes as Russia has been increasing restrictions on non-traditional sexual disorientations and gender misidentities. Right on, Russia. It's the last gasp of Western civilization, right? Or Eastern civilization, I guess. Climate propaganda. Global delegates at the COP28 Climate Summit in Dubai, according to CNN, Commie Nonsense Network, formally adopted a damage fund for countries to help nations hit hardest by the so-called climate crisis. Several countries pledged millions of dollars to the fund, including the United States, but the U.S. is receiving criticism for contributing a quote-unquote embarrassing amount of money, less than a fifth of the UAE's contribution, United Arab Emirates. The UAE pledged $100 million, as did evil Germany. And the UK announced £60 million. The US committed $17.5 million. That's plenty. That's way too much. And Japan contributed $10 million. Climate experts and advocacy groups largely praised the rich nations for their contributions, but they also said it was just a first step in a long road to ensuring the countries hit hardest by the so-called climate crisis are fully supported. See, it's redistribution of America's wealth, but America's not doing it as much in this instance. Nice. Attack on our greatest president. Speaking of America, Trump's attorneys in the Georgia election subversion case, which is rich, coming from CNN, will appear in Fulton County courtroom for the first time today to defend their client. Trump won't be with them. Historic indictment of Trump and 18 co-defendants in August includes felony racketeering charges, one of several legal cases facing our greatest president. In Georgia, Trump has and his alleged co-conspirators are facing 41 state charges over the election shenanigans that they pulled. I'm James Hake. Now back to JLP, R3.
Understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the third hour of the show today. You can get involved by calling 888-7753. 773 888-77-JESSE. Jesse. Jesse, my biblical question for this week. The biblical question: what distinguishes you from other people? What distinguishes you from other people? We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on JesseLeePeterson.com/show. JesseLeePeterson.com/show. And You can also listen to the show on your iPhone or iPad if you're busy and can't watch it live. You can podcast, of course, but you can listen doing whatever it is you're doing by calling the listen line at 641-793-1500. 641-793-1500. Follow us on JLP Talk on X. JLP Talk on X and Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. Like, ring the bell, do all that good stuff. And to donate and have your comments read out loud, buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. Buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. And rebuildingaman.com. You can go there as well. It's Get It Off Your Chest Friday. It is whatever is on your mind. Express yourself Friday.
You, Tom, like a mug. You need to go and get yourself bleached because everything you say about black people and you're sitting up there looking like a tar baby.
It might sound like a semantics argument, but he's a gray alien.
I wonder if he's been smoking pot.
So how are the kids?
How are the kids, by the way?
Sorry, I asked.
The group of students felt they were not being heard when it came to sensitive matters such as learning about slavery and civil rights.
Students told that they look like hookers on the side of the road on a Saturday night.
Sorry, I asked.
You're watching a young woman stab a classmate 14 times.
Stay on him, son. Come on. Hold up. Let me tighten this up. Oh, gosh, that's a good one. Come on. Real, son. That's a big one. Come on. Yeah! Let's freaking go, boy! Let's go!
Amazing. Bringing back the order of God in Christ. Christ in man, man over woman, and woman over children. Ain't nothing else going to work but that. And if you're not married, all men are over all women, period, right? And ladies, if you're not married, return to the Father. You don't need the man for that. Just forgive your mother, forgive your earthly father, and the same God that loved the man loved the woman. All right, but you must be born again. I want to go to the phones because I got so many calls here, and then some super chats and all kind of stuff. It is Friday. Donnie is a first-time caller out of Virginia. Donnie, welcome to the show. You're on the air. Donnie? Is it Donnie, Sean?
Shalom. I'm sorry. I'm on the phone, too. I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can. Go ahead.
How are you doing today?
All is well. A little louder, Donnie?
Sorry, I'm also at work, too, but I'm calling to get some stuff off my chest since it is Friday.
Okay.
And to touch basis on what you said, it's definitely about what the last caller was talking about and to answer your biblical question.
All right. Are you on a speakerphone by chance?
No.
Okay. Go ahead.
So the biblical question is what separates me from...
Oh, what distinguishes you from other people?
Yes. That I am not willing to waver on the teachings of the word. That I'm willing to lose everything, and I already have done that already.
Well, you're not willing to waver on the teaching of the word?
Correct.
Meaning the Bible?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. And why aren't you willing to waver on that?
Because it's truth and law.
It's your what?
Truth and law.
Your truth and law?
I have busted. That it is the truth and law.
Oh, the truth and law. And that's why you're unwilling to waver on that?
Yes.
Do you mean that you teach it to people that don't want to hear it?
I'll give you an example. I just got arrested the other day for not wearing a mask. And that goes against my I have exemptions. But anyway, I went in front of the judge, and the very first question the judge asked me is if to put my hand on the Bible and swear an oath. And I told him, I said, sir, in good consciousness, I cannot do that because that goes against my faith and my teachings. And that also goes against your faith and your teachings because you're forcing me to swear upon the Bible. But yet in Matthew 5:33 Matthew 5:33 through 35 says to never make an oath, to make no swears, not even to him himself, our Father. So I was put into a jail cell until against my own will. So that's basically being kidnapped. I'm willing to stand firm in his teachings and be willing to go through whatever consequences this world has to offer.
And so do you teach the word to other people as well?
Yes.
So the Bible says not to swear, you say, an oath?
Correct.
And you're refusing to do it because the Bible said don't do that?
That's because that's what my king and father says to do.
Oh, okay. Your king and father also said don't teach another man. Let no man teach you. Why do you teach and he tell you not to do that?
The Bible says to go out into the world and spread the gospel.
But it tells you to teach nobody. Why do you teach when the Bible tells you not to?
Because the Bible tells you to teach his word, to read it and to give it to other people.
It doesn't tell you that at all.
Agree to disagree.
So you disagree the Bible said let no man teach you?
Can you please give me a Bible reference?
You never read that before?
Okay, so as you said it earlier, in order to become better, not just for yourself and for as a better person, you need to be born again. I have recently been born again, and I've only been into this for about 5 years, 6 years now. So I'm not claiming to know everything and know the entire scripture, forward and backwards.
And so you never.
There's always a wise man knows that there's always. A wise man knows that there's always information to learn.
You never read in the Bible or heard anyone tell you that the Bible said, let no man teach you?
Okay. Well, no, it's not me that's teaching. It's him. So when you are born again, you are a representation of him. You are part of his kingdom. And it's not you that's teaching. It's the spirit that's speaking through you, the Rock Shadesh that's speaking through you, that's doing the teaching.
So you never read in the Bible or heard it said, let no man teach you?
No.
You never
that's why I asked for a Bible reference.
Read that in the Bible at all?
No. That's why I asked for the reference.
Where it says, let no man teach you, but the Holy Spirit will teach you all things. You have a teacher inside to teach you. But let me ask, so you were arrested just in Virginia just because you had a mask?
Because I had no mask.
And so you were arrested in Virginia because you had no. When did this happen?
So this was September or August, October, around there, of 2022. That's far, far after the mandates were lifted and being required and all that stuff.
So you wasn't arrested today or yesterday or this week?
I was. This is in reference of that. I will go into the Social Security building because I was homeless at the time, and I was trying to get my life back in order and get my Social Security card for employment. I was immediately stopped and told I'm not allowed in there unless I wear a mask. So, I'm sorry, but I have 2 exemptions. I don't want to hear it. I'm calling the police. Well, I'm already a felon from what I did 20 years ago. I don't want to be charged with fleeing a scene of a crime. So the way I'm thinking, okay, I will wait right here for the police. So they came, and they arrested me for trespassing, even though the Social Security administrating officer on body cam states that she is willing to come outside, that I don't have to come in, that she will come out and do everything to get what I need to do. And the police officer still arrested me.
So you were trying to force your way into a building that, during that period, you were trying to force your way into a building that said you could not come in because you did not have a mask?
It was not during that period. That was after it all ended.
But it's still the rule at that particular building said that you cannot come in because you don't have a mask, and you were trying to force your way in?
No. So law also states that you can't restrict someone from a public building if they have business to do there. The law also states that you can't force someone to wear a mask if they have medical or religious exemptions or other exemptions.
But what I'm asking, that at that building, the rule for that building was you cannot come into this building if you don't have a mask on, right?
Which is, by law definition, illegal to do in the first place. And I wasn't forcing my way in.
And so, as soon as I stepped foot. You were at a building that says that you cannot come into this building if you don't have a mask, right?
Correct.
And you tried to force your way in anyway?
Negative. He
so why
immediately
would
said
they have
that I'm
you
calling
arrested?
the police.
Why would they have you arrested if you were not trying to force your way in or say or imply that you're going to go in anyway? Why would they have you arrested if you were not doing any of those things?
Because the security officer has an ego trip. That's what it was. I have the entire interaction recorded. I wasn't hostile. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't swear. I simply politely said that I will wait right here, which wasn't inside the building, to be clear.
Is that still bothering you that you were arrested? Does it bother you?
Yes. Yes.
Why is it still bothering you?
Because I let it go. It was I was told not to return, and I let it go. And then, unbeknownst to me, in November, fast forward a couple months to November, they gave me another court date, which I never received. I was never given any documentation. I never agreed. There's no paperwork that with my signature on it that says that I'm supposed to be there. But then, since I was a failure to appear, they put a warrant for my arrest in December of 2022. And then fast forward to this past Monday, I got pulled over, and he said that I have a warrant for my arrest, and that's why he pulled me over, and then I had to go with him immediately.
And so did you go back to jail?
Yes. So I went back in front of the magistrate, and she tried to have me again swear an oath, and I politely declined. And she said that if I do not, that I'm going to be imprisoned. Which, again, there's law that states that you can't do that. First Amendment, right to religious feelings and all that stuff. But anyway, so I spent 3 days, or almost 3 days in jail. I got put back in front of the judge, and he gave me what they call an unsecured bond, and told me that I had to be on court again this coming up 21st.
And okay, and so you upset about all this?
I'm not upset. I'm just frustrated. I want no part of it. I've been on the straight and narrow. I've done no wrong since I was 18 when I did all that stupid stuff and got arrested. I have my son. I have custody of my son. I raised my son to be a proper man. Let me ask you this
because of time. Let me ask. Had you put your hand on the Bible and just said, I promise to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God, do you think you would have gone through all that other stuff?
No, but in the end...
And why not just put your hand on the Bible and say, you plan to tell the truth anyway, right?
Because, again, Matthew 5:33.
Will you plan to tell the truth or lie?
plan to tell the truth because
So why
it says
why do you just say, I promise you I'm going to tell you the truth? That's not a big deal.
I did. I said that I will let my yeses be yes and my noes be noes, but they still want you to swear an oath. When Scripture, I'll read it to you. I have it pulled up here.
No,
it says, again,
swear the oath meaning that I promise to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Okay, but yet
that's
says,
the oath. That's the oath you're talking about.
Yes.
What's wrong with that? Why you? I'm promising to tell you the truth, so help me God. And that's no big deal.
So
did you plan on lying or tell the truth, so help you God?
The issue that is with that is that it says, I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne, neither by earth, for it is his footstool, neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king.
You don't think God
neither
has
shall
sense
you
enough
swear
to know
by the head, because the
Johnny, you don't think God has sense enough to know you're following the law of the land, that particular law, and it was just words? It was just words. It wasn't a big deal.
I agree to disagree with on our interpretation of what Scripture says.
Why are you
to do or
agreeing
not
to disagree? I'm right about that. It was just words.
I think you're wrong. Scripture clearly, I just read it, it flat out tells you not to do it, period.
But the Scripture
not
also
even to swear
tell you...
to God. It flat out says, do not swear to God, to his name.
But the Bible also tells you don't need anyone to teach you. You're going around teaching.
I'm teaching what the Bible says, yes.
It tells you not to do it. You don't need anyone to do that, but you're doing it.
Can you please give me the Bible reference to that? What chapter, what verse?
1 John 2:27.
All right, so let me pull it up. 1 John, you said?
1 John 2:27. And why are you calling yourself a teacher? You're not a teacher. Call no man teacher. John? Donnie?
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, so because I'm tired down there, I want to get to some as many calls as possible. What you want?
Yeah, I just want them to go away. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't break any laws. I just want to be left alone to continue to live my life in peace.
And so then if you want that, you got to do the right thing and then go through what you got to go through without being angry. You'll be fine.
Oh, I am.
Had you
choice.
Put your hand on the Bible and said, I promise to tell the truth, so help me God, that would have been over. When you went to that building and they said...
I did not do that because I don't have to do that. Law,
well, then
not
don't
only
be mad
does
about
Scripture
going to
state
jail.
that, but our law says you don't have to.
Well, don't
and
be mad about going to jail.
To show that prove it.
Donnie, well, don't be angry about going to jail then. So you didn't have to do it.
I'm not angry about going to jail. I'm scared. I've already spent a good portion of my life behind prison. I know what it can do to a person.
You're afraid of what?
I don't want of dying, because I know if I go in there, I'm going to die again. I'm going to die.
What do you mean, like die, like dead? He dead?
Yes.
And how do you know that?
Because I know I don't have much time left on this earth.
Are you already? You're dying right now?
Yes.
Are you got a disease or something?
Yes.
Oh, so
I really don't want to talk about that.
Right.
But yes.
I understand that. You don't have to say what it is or anything. I'm just trying to understand your fears. So you already have something that you're dying anyway, right?
Yes. And
then you think
if I'm going to die, I want to die on my beliefs and my understanding on what Scripture says, even though if it might be right, it might be wrong, but I'm still going to die on my terms. I am a free man after all.
And so how old are you?
I am 41.
So you're 41 and some doctor have told you that you're dying, and so you don't want to go back to jail because you're afraid that you might die in jail?
Yes.
And how long will you have to be in jail?
Maximum 3 years.
You have to be in there 3 years for not saying I promise to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
No. not at all.
Why would you have to be there 3 years then?
For the trespassing, and then they're accusing me of failing to appear.
Oh.
For those 2 charges.
And so, how long you have to live?
About 7 to 10.
You got 7 years to live, and 10?
Yes, but you don't understand.
But you ain't going to die in jail then if you're going to be...
You can't, one, you can't say that. 2, I've been in prison for about 2.5 years, and I know what it does psychologically, emotionally, and so on.
But if you
cannot go through that again.
If you believe in God, it should not be affecting you like that.
Correct. But
so
also,
why are you being affected
time,
that way? You can't even put your hand on the
Because when I was locked up for the 3 days, I was denied anything in any contact with my father. I was not allowed to have a Bible. I wasn't allowed to talk to any clergy person or any of any sort. I'm also Hebrew. I told him that I have to eat
What's a Hebrew?
kosher, and I don't eat. From the descendant of Father Abraham.
Are you like one of those black Hebrew Israelite people?
I can't speak on that, but I can speak on history and give you an example.
No, I'm asking you this. Are you like a black Israelite person?
No, I'm Barquay.
Who?
You
Barquay?
People, yes.
Who is Barquay?
What is commonly known as Puerto Rico. The name Puerto Rico was created when the treaty was signed.
Donnie, are you black?
Yes. I'm mixed.
You mixed with what?
To make it easy, what people call Irish and Puerto Rican.
And but it's not really Irish?
No, and it's not really Puerto Rican either.
So what do you mix with then?
So if, again, with Puerto
Danny,
Rico...
what's wrong with you? You need to let all this mess go. You're confused.
No, you have to understand... Okay, so the way my brain works, in order to make sense, you have to understand the context. That's all about Scripture, is understanding context.
No, Donnie,
you're asking me a question.
Your problem is you're too intellectual. You're too involved with your mind, and it's driving you crazy.
But how could you make a statement if you don't even know what I was going to say?
But I'm telling you, from all that you've said already, are you like autistic or something?
Asperger's.
Asperger?
Yeah.
What's an Asperger?
Everyone always says it wrong.
What did I say?
It's Asperger.
Instead of what?
It sounded like you said Asperger. That's the way most people, when you look up how it's actually spelled and you try to pronounce it, people say Asperger.
Oh, so what's wrong? What's an Asperger? Ashburger. Perger.
They are extremely intelligent, but they do not know communication skills. They're not good at cues. They're not good at things like that, and they're extremely blunt.
And so you're not good at communication?
Correct. I spent almost my entire life alone.
Really?
Yes.
Are you on medication?
No.
Oh, okay. And why not?
With everything that you said so far, I have testimony to back up what you're saying. I have experiences in that. Like my sister was put on Ritalin. She went around telling the teachers that she doesn't have a brother anymore because her mother pushed him down the stairs or threw him out the bedroom window.
Wow. What a mess. Here's what
I was never put on any kind of medication because I was always quiet. But there was other things that caused me to be that way. But like, I'll just say, because my truth is the truth, I'm also a victim of child rape. So is my sister. And because of that, I basically closed myself off.
Let me suggest this to you, and then I want you to try it and call me back. Have you heard me talk about being still and knowing God?
No, I just recently found your channel a couple of days ago.
Okay, I want you to go to I'm recommending that you go to rebuildingaman.com/prayer, and I want you to do that. Be still, so you can know the Father, and the Father will guide you. He'll take away all your fear. He will give you perfect peace. You still read your little Bible, and when you're done, be still and know God. You give that a try. Let me know what you think.
Yes.
Rebuildingaman.com/prayer, all right?
Yes.
All right. Call me again. I got to run, Donna. It's been amazing.
All right. Shalom. Have a blessed day.
Okay. I wish you well with your Asperger.
Thank you.
All right. 888-7753-773. Let me go to Trey, a first-time caller out of Texas. Trey, welcome to the show. You're on the air. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on, Trey. Trey, okay. Hey,
Yes, sir.
Trey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. I wanted to thank you and the crew for helping me find the truth and see the truth and helping my entire family, actually. And I had a question.
You're welcome, man.
Thank you. So my mom replaced my biological father when I was 2. I'm 34 now. And he left, obviously, he ran away. My biological father ran away from my mom, and now I understand that. And so I forgave my mother, been working on the silent prayer. We're homeschooling all 3 of our kids. I was able to put down the pot like cold turkey, and it's been amazing ever since. I've been a lot closer and able to see the truth. So I just met my biological father 3 days ago.
Amazing.
I finally found him. I went to him because I knew that in order for me to complete this process, I needed to apologize to him for resenting him for not protecting me from
Trey,
my mother.
hold on 1
Yes,
minute. Let me just take a quick break. I'll come back to you, all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. 888-7753-773. Back in a moment. Check out my book, For Raised to Responsibility. I show you how I was able to overcome anger. The spirit of anger was taken away from me. I had it. And as a result of having anger, I was insecure. I had doubt, worry, fear. I was in a fallen state and didn't know it. And it wasn't until I went and forgave my mother, who tried to turn me away from my father. I forgave my father for not being there and returned back to him. My spirit connected with his spirit, and through him, I was able to return to God. And I have perfect peace. Perfect love casts out anger. And when anger is gone, fear and doubt, worry, insecurity, suicidal thoughts, all of that is gone, and you are free. Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, or if you want an autographed copy, you can go to my website at rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-BOND. So listen, real fast, because of time, and I want to get to many calls and super chats here, the Hake report is coming up at the top of this hour, 9 a.m. Pacific time, from 9 to 11. The Hake report.com from 9 to 11. And then at 12 noon, a brand new episode of the FallenState.tv. The FallenState.tv. Very nice conversation with Nate Fisher, CEO of Newfoundland and co-founder of American Reformer. Watch this.
Next time on The Fallen State.
The best reason to start a business is to make a lot of money. And I don't think people should be apologetic about that. I'm raising a venture fund to invest in conservative companies.
When you don't overcome their heart, then you cannot keep the commandments.
Breaking any of the 10 commandments would be a sin.
Do you have anger?
Let's say I spend time on Twitter.
And does your wife obey you?
Arguing with a woman is rarely productive.
Right, because you argue with the devil. Nice conversation. You're going to enjoy it. And you can donate, support the Fallen State at FallenState.tv/donate. Fallen State, the FallenState.tv/donate or locals.com. There in the link. All right. And then at 4 p.m., the American Anchor Baby. The American Anchor Baby flying high, not off pot and not off fentanyl, but off real energy. Energy on loan from God. And church on Sunday, you're all invited. Doors open at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. Meetings start at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. If you're in the LA area, come on down. You can go to rebuildingtheman.com/church to watch it. rebuildingtheman.com/church. All right. 888, and the Treasure Chest is now open on D Live. I forgot the Treasure Chest is open. And the Anchor Baby, the American Anchor Baby, has a guest today, and it sounds like it's going to be interesting. He's with a special guest today at 4 p.m. All right? Amazing. Let me go back to Trey, who found his father the other day. And Trey, did you meet with him, you say?
Yes, sir. I went straight to his house and sat down right in front of him and, apologized for resenting him for not protecting me from my mother. And it was a very good meeting after, 34 years of not knowing him.
Wow.
And my main question, I kind of have two. The first is, can I call him Dad?
Absolutely. Why not?
I don't know. It just felt like it was too fast, moving too fast. It's a new relationship, and I didn't know if I would be able to just...
He's been your father for 34 years.
I know. I feel like I don't want to ruin a good thing, and I just want to take it slow, but at the same time, I do want to call him Dad.
He probably going to love it. If you want to do it, do it. If you don't, you don't. It's neither wrong nor right. But if you want to call him that, absolutely, man.
Okay, and then my other question is my mom did replace my biological father with a stepfather who was in my life from the age of 2 until now. And so we kind of had a falling out, and I'm realizing what a beta he is compared. I realized this before I met my biological father, because my stepfather is a union worker, and he is pure Democrat. And so I called him, for help, and I was overthinking life and just looking at our society and everything, and I wanted to talk to him about it. And he made fun of me, said I sound like Rush Limbaugh, and I'm freaking out for no reason, and that there's nothing wrong, and he went through all the same stuff, but, now I'm realizing that we're on two different pages, and now that I meet my biological father, he owns his own business, and he's just a totally different, he takes care of himself, it's just a totally different way of life. And so with my stepfather, I don't know if should I maintain a relationship with him?
If you want to, yes. If you don't want to, no. You're neither right nor wrong about that either. But you should not be angry at him at all, because he has to deal with his issues. They have nothing to do with you. And if it hurt your feelings when he called you Rush Limbaugh or sound like Rush Limbaugh, that's something that you need to overcome. So be glad that you saw that emotion and let it pass because it's not you. And eventually, the world can't touch you. So that's something you need to overcome. That's not a negative either.
Yes, sir. It just feels strange trying to call two people dad.
So do you call your stepfather dad?
Yes, sir.
And that's because he's been with you all your life?
Yes, sir.
And you don't want to call him dad anymore?
Well, it's a strange feeling because, you know, with my biological father coming back into my life right now, I guess it feels like I'm cheating on my stepdad, you know?
But you're not. You're not at all. If you want to continue to call your stepfather dad, do it. If you don't. You can call him whatever his name is.
Okay.
And you're neither wrong nor right about that.
Okay. Awesome.
That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
Why did you wait so long to look for your father?
Because I was listening to my thoughts, and every time I would find my brother, because my biological has two sons, and I would contact them and ask about my father, and they would say, "Oh, he's a piece of crap, and you shouldn't even be worried about it." But then I look at what happened to them from their mother,
yeah,
and it's all making sense now. And this time, he said the same thing. I called that brother, and he said the same thing, tried to deter me.
Yeah,
and I put my foot down. I said, I'm not giving up this time. I need his phone number, and I need his address. And instead of calling him, I just drove straight to his house, knocked on his door. He opened the door, and I just broke down. Well, I didn't really break down, but, that experience was very intense.
I bet he was like, what the? Very nice, man.
Yeah, he answered the door, was like, hello. I'm like, I'm Trey. And he was just like, come on in. And we sat at the kitchen table, and he cooked some fried fish, and that he caught that day. And, man, he gave me some of it, and I could tell he was really enjoying that. He wants to meet my family, his grandkids, and they want to meet their grandpa.
Right on, man. Well, when you do see flaws in him, don't be angry at him either, all right? And you have done what you spiritually supposed to do, and that's to return to the Father. Are you doing the silent prayer?
Yes, sir, I am. I do have trouble remembering it at night, but I do it every single morning and throughout the day, but I'm having a difficulty remembering it at night.
Why is that?
I'm distracted.
Oh, well, stop being distracted and put just before bed, or you can do an hour or so before you go to bed, but you want to put seeking the kingdom before everything else. And I'm telling you, you're going to eventually let go and let life happen, and it's going to be amazing for you.
Yes, sir, it already is.
Right on.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, well, stay with it. Congratulations on finding your father, man, forgiving your father and mother, and you're on your way. And don't let the devil tell you it's not working. It is working, and you'll be fine.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jesse, and thanks to the crew. Y'all have helped me and my family see the truth, and it is amazing.
Amazing. You're welcome, brother. Call me again.
Yes, sir. Happy Friday.
You too. Thank you. Ain't nothing like a return to the Father. I'm telling you, men and women all around the world, everyone that's born through the woman, everybody is, you're never going to have peace until you return to the Father. It ain't going to happen. Let me go. There's a line open at 888-7753-773. First time caller, Brian out of Pennsylvania. Brian, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Thank you, Jesse.
Yes, sir.
And I'm trying to what your process and your thought pattern for forgiving the mother and saying that everything she did was wrong.
Well,
I do, I have a strong bond with my mother. She raised me a lot, and helpful because of her nature.
Brian, Brian, your phone going in and out. Will you hold and let Sean work it out, and I'll come back to you. Do not hang up. I want to squeeze in some more calls while they're working on that. 888-7753-773. Let me go to Alfonso, a first-time caller out of South Carolina. Alfonso, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up, Jesse? I love your show, man. I really appreciate you doing everything that you've done. You've really helped me out as a young man. How are you?
All is well, Alfonso. Thank you.
I just wanted to give your callers a quick story. My family's Cuban, but I was born here. I'm an American. I view myself as an American. Unfortunately, when I was 7 or 8 years old, it's a little, I don't remember exactly. My mother divorced my father and drove him away. He tried to stay in my life. He would always try to call me. He moved to Florida, and I would visit him, but my mom would purposely make it difficult. She would, for example, my dad would ask in advance, hey, can you let me know when Alfonso's coming down so I can take my vacation days from work and use it to spend time with my son? She would ignore him. She would show up. She would lie about the tickets when we would fly down there. And a lot of just small evil things. What you talk about with people adopting the identity of their mother, it's 100% true. She would tell me, your father left you. He hurt you. He left you because he's selfish. He doesn't care about you. And I remember, at the beginning, as a child, I didn't believe those things because when I would spend time with my father, I loved it. Yeah. He left almost all his money with her and moved to Florida with only $2,000 in the bank. And he built himself back up. He owns some land. He runs a farm now, and he has a wife. I have a little sister. Very nice family. But she would complain about my father all the time to me, and eventually it caused me to be angry towards him as I turned into a teenager. And I stopped talking to my dad for a few years. I would ignore his calls. I didn't want to talk to him. I didn't want to visit him. And during that time, Jesse, what you talk about with the mothers controlling the children and destroying them, my mother would be so abusive because my father no longer was really able to do anything because I wouldn't speak to him. She ended up being abusive physically, verbally, and mentally towards me. It got so bad one time she was beating me that I pushed her away physically. I'm a big guy. I'm not small. And I ended up getting the police called on me. I ended up going to juvenile detention for a month, then I had a probation officer. And she would lie to the probation officer. She would call them. She would tell the probation officer me and her's personal fights. And, of course, the court had to eventually get involved. And I dealt with that from the ages of, 15 to 17. But no other time did I ever get involved with the law. I don't smoke drugs. I don't drink. I don't commit crime. I was a decent kid. I just, like you said, my anger eventually drove me into making a bad decision. Yeah. And I got paid for it.
Amazing. That's an amazing story, man. I'm telling you, this happens to all kids all around the world, all races. And that's why I'm trying to get people to understand our problems have never been physical problems. They have been spiritual problems. And
100%. And
unless we overcome that anger, unless we return to the Father, they're going to always be angry, emotional problem. But you forgive, that stuff will disappear.
Absolutely. And I forgave her. I followed your advice. I forgave her. I forgave her a couple months ago. I went up to her, as you said, and I said, hey, Mom, I forgive. I'm sorry. I said, I apologize for being angry and resenting you the entirety of my childhood. You drove me away from my father. I understand that it really wasn't you as that angry spirit driving you, but it did me a lot of damage. I won't lie. It really did destroy me as a kid, but I forgive you for it. I understand why it happened. And Jesse, when you talked about that once you start to see, it'll make your head spin. Yeah. You weren't lying, man. I see things now, just subtle things, and it's almost, I don't have fear, but it is scary to look at, especially when I interact with her. I see the devil in her trying to drag me back into hell.
Yes.
Luckily, I reconnected with my dad when I graduated high school at 18, and he told me, like you did, move out of that house. He told me the same thing: get out of hell, or you'll suffer for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And I moved up. I moved 3.5 hours away. I go to college here in South Carolina on a full scholarship. Luckily, I had good grades in school. So my dad, I love talking to him. I really do. When I first started watching your show and taking your advice, I looked back and I was a little sorry about the time, especially as a young teenager, that I missed out in being angry at my father. And I forgave him. I forgave my mother, and I've had nothing but phenomenal peace.
Yeah.
I feel still now.
Yeah.
I don't feel anxious. I don't feel worried at night. It really works, guys. I'm a young man. I'm 22 years old, and I can tell you guys, it's rough out there, but Jesse's not lying. He has not told a lie yet. It really works. Go and forgive your parents. It was the best decision I've ever made. Now I have a great relationship with my father. He's like my best friend. I talk to him weekly. I have nothing but great conversations, and I spend time with them, and I love it.
Amazing.
Thank you, Jesse.
You're welcome, man. Stay with it, stay with it, stay with it.
Will do, Jesse.
All right, buddy. Amazing story. Let me go quickly back to Brian out of Pennsylvania. Brian, let's try it again. Go ahead.
Try it again, Jesse. Hopefully this works out better this
It's
time.
working now, yes.
Jesse, I'm trying to comprehend this method, and your last caller did say, something to help me out and understanding. What am I forgiving? How am I doing this process? And because I've listened to your show now, I'm a pretty new listener, but I'm not supposed to be too specific, because I know as soon as I start talking about forgiveness, I'm going to be asking questions. Well, about what and about why? So can you
forgive your mother.
Walk me through the process a little bit, please.
You got to first see that you do have this anger. And when you see that you have it, you see that it came from her. And because of her anger, what her mother has done to her, she imposed herself on you one way or another, either playing victim or being nice or imposing her will on you, trying to recreate you and live through you and turning you away from your father. And she couldn't help it. When she did that to you, it was because that's what she is right now. Her mother did it to her. And when you see it, that you have this anger for yourself, and you realize she did it to you, you must forgive her. Because as long as you hold on to that anger, which is unforgiveness, you cannot know God. You know about him, you hear about him and read about him, but you won't know him. You cannot enter into the kingdom of heaven until you forgive your mother and forgive your father for not protecting you from your mother. Meaning that admit that you were wrong for being angry at them. They cannot help themselves.
All right. Well, if I search myself, which I've done through prayer and fasting, I've been free from bitterness. Maybe not for all that long, maybe not for years and years, maybe not a decade, but I had a really hard time in life coming from a really bad physical injury or injuries, and coming from wheelchairs and crutches, and finally, and being more of a whole person again. And, I'm grateful for life.
Have you gone and forgiven your mother?
No, and that's why I'm wondering how to do it when I consider myself free from bitterness and anger as much as I can, at least right now, and maybe I have new heights to find.
Why haven't you gone and forgiven her?
This is a new concept to me.
Oh,
Jesse,
I see.
That I have to forgive her for things that I maybe don't realize that I'm still holding against her.
Right.
What seems like to me is more practical to my mind, which may or may not be true, is that I'd like to forgive her, to teach her how to forgive her parents, because the way I consider things right now is that I wish that she could have the peace that I have, because I consider myself rectified, peaceful and free from bitterness regarding the injuries and the trauma and the hardships that I faced.
Why is it that you why won't you take a look inside and see the anger that you have toward her and go and forgive her?
Yeah, see, to me it seems like I'm trying to find that. It's not so.
Yeah, don't even try. Are you doing the silent prayer?
Yes.
You doing the silent prayer?
Yes. Since I've been listening to you for the past week.
Okay, don't make yourself see it. Don't make up something or anything. You just see it. If it's in there, God will allow you to see it. You don't have anger anymore?
I can't say that I don't have it anymore. But I don't. And I mean, it's only been, within this past year that I've really come to terms with letting go of my controlling nature.
So you don't have, do you have anger?
I mean, I'm human, so I'm expecting that I'll have to have self-control again in the future.
Do you have anger?
But it's been quite some time since I've experienced anger.
Do you have anger?
At this time, I don't.
And you expecting it to come back at some point or something?
I'd like to think that it's free, but I'm human, and so if somebody crosses me, I may.
But if you don't have it, there's nothing that can happen to you that will cause you to be angry, because there's never, ever, 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 ever a reason for any reason to be angry. Have you forgiven your father?
I've been challenged recently, and I thought that my old self would have been angry, but instead, what I noticed was I felt a little sorry for the individual, and I saw that they were controlled by demons.
But you don't have a right to feel sorry for anyone. Let me ask, have you forgiven your father?
I have not. I'm not really able to. I don't know how to get in touch with him.
And why is that?
Well, he went to jail when I was really young.
Oh.
And so I was parted from him for a long time. My stepdad came into my life, and then my father did try to come back into my life in the time where I was in a wheelchair, breathing out.
All right, let me do this because the computer's going to cut us off. Can you call me next week?
I'll do my best. I work a lot, but I'll do my best.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks, and God bless.
All right. I am so out of time, folks. I really want to get to your super chats here. I will do them on Monday if the Lord is willing and the creek will rise. Thank you for them. And then on Monday, I'm going to tell you about the donations you guys gave to help us upgrade our equipment and all that. I'll do that on Monday. I have the total now, I think. And I do appreciate that. The Hake report is coming up now. TheHakeReport.com from 9 to 11. And at 12 noon, at FallenState.tv. And at 5, a special guest with the Anchor Baby. You do not want to miss that. At 4 o'clock, sorry about that. At 4 p.m. Pacific time, the American Anchor Baby has a special guest today. I've never heard the American Anchor Baby interview anyone. I got to listen to this one. So, see you at church on Sunday, and I will do the Super Chats on Monday. Thank you all for them. To the callers, I am so out of time. Have an amazing weekend, and I'll be back on Monday. See you Sunday at church at 11 a.m. Doors open at 10:30 Pacific time. Take care.
Check. I had to get on the track one time. Joel Friday here. Check. Look, stand up. Stand up, we got fighting to do. We gotta show him who boss. He put a Viking in you. He put that lightning in you. Igniting the truth. But you beg and blame and lie and hate and never wanna stand for the truth. So what you planning to do? You understand in the lose. You better go talk to your mama. Better stop at the drama. Better drop all the trauma. Boy, you better stand up, man up. Put your hand up and hut. Cause if we don't, then we lose. And then we gotta hear the fake news. Whoa.
So, here's what I recommend. I invite you to download my silent prayer, and I want you to start doing it. You just download it, get the points of how to do it, and then after a while, you just do it on your own. It's going to point you in the right direction that your life will be returned to you from God. He will give you your life back, because anyone and all people who has anger, they're not themselves. You are the person that you are angry at. That's why it's so important to get to know yourself so that you can see who you're angry at. And if you're doing the hooping and hollering prayers and things like that, some people get up, oh, praise the Lord, hoop and holler, bless my mama, bless my daddy. Continue to do it. Do both. You will see if you want to stay with the hooping and hollering, or do you want to be still and know God. So my gift to you, no charge, at rebuildingtheman.com/church. So I asked the question, are you better than a child molester? I've discovered over the 30 years of counseling, the one thing that's missing, and I think because it's not taught in the homes or talked about, we don't have examples of it, right, is love. Our theme this year is to bring back Christianity, to love God with all our heart, soul, and might, our neighbor as ourselves, and to endure. And when you're in a fallen state, people will judge the molester but think they're better than the molester. And I ask, well, why do you think you're better? When I realized it doesn't matter what you think about yourself, or how much you have or don't have, or how you accomplish things in life or don't. If you have no love, you have nothing.